Okay, so I'm here with Pluto in the 11th house, Synastry. Pluto in the 11th house, Synastry. Okay, so this is interesting. You know, Pluto in the 11th house here is, let me tell you, this is a very awkward situation nonetheless. You two can meet in unexpected circumstances, like meeting online, meeting through friends. And I like with this one, it really does. I put more focus on what other signs of compatibility is doing for you guys. Because you can have, let's say, compatible sun signs, sun, moon signs, sun to moon, Venus and Mars. So really what is activated here is like this attraction based on not always either initially having it or there's some sort of distance there, but then there's something that's bringing you together. Like I said, online meeting people online, we can be distant from them, but for some reason we're not distant. We could be far away from them, but we can meet because we're in the same chat. We're following somebody's channel and we're in the same chat box discussion and we chatting. You see? Or it's unexpected encounters. It can be distance, it can be back and forth, and it can be power struggles. Okay? Now, because in just different. So this power struggles can take place between each other. Maybe Pluto wants to reel the 11th house in and keep track or control who's friends, who is the 11th house is befriending or friends with or associating with or affiliating with. Okay? And it could be a good or bad thing, because I'm going to say this. Pluto has a very powerful intuition. So Pluto can be like, okay, well, I'm looking at the 11th house friends and who they're associating with, and those people or those surroundings, that group, that's not good for you. That's not, like, you can do so much better, or your friends, you shouldn't trust them. Now, granted, the 11th house, I'm sorry, because this is the house of Aquarius. 11th house may give Pluto credit for knowing this and looking out for them, but they're not going to like the controls that they feel like Pluto is placing on them. They're not. And that's where the problem usually starts and ends. Okay? It's really not that much control over how this relationship plays out. It's not. It's different circumstances that's bringing these people apart and together. It's very unexpected, like I said. And the power struggle comes from not necessarily that Aquarius is trying to control the Pluto person, but not necessarily that the 11th house is trying to control the Pluto person, but that can happen as well, depending on the other signs that's playing out between these two people. Okay. But I will say this, if we go to the positive side, Pluto here can initiate or inspire the 11th house person to step outside of their usual boundaries and ordinary traditional boundaries that they would have, and allow themselves to experience let go of attachments to things. I'm not going to say just experience, but in a way that's playing out too, because it's more like let's take this relationship and let's say that it's a relationship between these two people that other people don't understand. And really, to be with each other, you have to accept the fact that other people don't understand it for whatever reason. Then the 11th house person, by this happening and occurring, and them wanting some sort of acceptance from the groups that they run in, or their affiliations, and those groups or affiliations not automatically giving that to them, it's like that 11th house is put in this position to where they themselves are triggered or have to experience their life like that. Like they'll look at things from a new pair of eyes. Like, okay, you know what? Let me just allow things that I need to allow, that I don't need to attach my emotions to. Like, let me understand detachment so that I'm not being influenced by these other people that feel like I should be doing what they want me to do, you know, and let me just, you know, allow things, allow time to pass. Okay, because Pluto here can trigger situations where the 11th house person let go of people too and affiliate depending on Pluto. Because if you got Pluto here and Pluto is a not so good friend to hang around because of what they're into, 11th house person, you're going to be bringing yourself down with them. But you will get 11th house person saying to Pluto, hey, you know, you got to change, trying to teach Pluto things, you know, and then dissonances in themselves. Like, okay, I guess it's got to let you learn from a distance. Like, there's something about 11th house that ends up having understanding detachment in some way. But if Pluto is a good influence, okay, and there is hitting this person's 11th house in a way to where it's, you know, it becomes this powerful entity together because it has the ability to do business, you know, be around or put themselves together in the right group or influence to gain money, to gain influence, to gain attention, and things of that nature. So these two could actually do business together, but Pluto may come in and change that group, change that affiliation for the 11th house person, putting them in a situation or position to where they expand or they could go higher. It's going to be some sort of changes that's enacted though, because Pluto is here. All right. There's usually power struggles here too, where Pluto is at. But it's because initially one person could be, you know, fighting the other or like going against the other and being stubborn on, well, no, you can't tell me what to do. You can't, I can talk to who I want to. I can affiliate with who I want to, you know? And so that could be playing out. This could be playing out. I feel like there's a certain psychological nature here too. Like the Pluto person could act as like a counselor or something to the 11th house person, where the 11th house person goes to the Pluto person and vent and stuff, because that could be another way of how they end up getting together or being together, you know, like, and I will say this though, there is an acceptance that could happen between these two too, because of their ability to just detach. Like once Pluto hits that 11th house, somebody has to detach. And like I said, it could be life itself and circumstances that's causing this to happen. But it's like you learn this. You learn this through sometimes trial and error, or just accepting the fact like, okay, well, this is how things are right now between us. This is our living ranges right now, whatever. And then it triggers this sort of change of you know, understanding, or a change of approach, or these changes through learning, information, knowledge, detachments, friendships, circles, like what comes out of these friendships and circles. Because let's say there's a situation here where Pluto is here, and then you're doing some things you ain't got no business doing. Then you get caught, and then you're speeding or something, and then you get stopped, and then you get a ticket or whatever. You know, it's like, well, that's the learning lesson, to be like, okay, well, maybe we shouldn't be speeding. We were speeding the last time. You know what I mean? But let's say the next time you get in the car with Pluto and Pluto speeding, or even this could be either way. There's some placements in Synastry that, to me, it could be either way, because it'll really depend on the other what else is highlighting compatibility within the chart and what signs that is, especially here, because when you're falling in something like the 11th house, it's really hard to pinpoint what is the 12th house too, but it's in 11th house, everything is so distant sometimes, and it's really hard to pinpoint, you know, what's operating or how it's playing out, unless you have other, like if I had two people's charts together, it will make more sense to me, you know what I mean? Like it'll be something that I could define more. But yeah, so there's this narrative here around these changes and understanding detachment and understanding, like, because there could be a thing playing out too to where you got to let go of each other for a certain reason. There could be a thing playing out too to where, let's say if it's abuse going on, the person is learning like, okay, well, I don't, you know, like, because that's the house, the 11th house, the person is learning that this is not something that they should accept off of someone else or from someone else. And in order for them to make changes in their life, to heal, to do better, they have to distance themselves, you know. So, but, you know, like I said, on a good note though, these two can do business together. These two could be very good friends, but, you know, depending on what else is going on here, that's what's making or breaking it. It could be an open relationship, or meeting each other and then not meeting each other through friends, or there's something different within the power dynamic. Like for instance, let's say the 11th house is a man and the Pluto is a person. I mean, y'all, it's getting late. Pluto is a woman and the Pluto person has this lucrative business, or, you know, is making more money or something. And then the 11th house person doesn't, but they're really interested in the Pluto person. And then the 11th house wants to keep that hush hush, possibly. Well, depending on the 11th house person, they may not care, but I'm just saying, they want to keep that hush hush, or they don't want that to get out within the friend group or their affiliations, because their group is that they hang around is more traditional, and they're gonna get, you know, the 11th house person might get made fun of or ridiculed or outcast or whatever because their woman makes more than them. Let's say that this is a situation where it's okay, so in this instance, the 11th house person has to upgrade itself in this group affiliation, or its understanding in life, like on an intelligent level, like to say, hey, you know, I really care about this woman, and is it really going to challenge me and make me feel less of a man because she makes more money than me? See, social norms are tested. Social norm boundaries are tested and put into perspective. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there, guys, because I could keep going. But this is Pluto in the 11th house Synastry. I'm Butterfly to Light.